Meanwhile, some government officials have vowed to support community pantry organizers, particularly Ana Patricia Non, who raised concerns about red tagging. Bayan Muna Chairman Neri Colmenares, for one, met with Non earlier today to orient her about her rights. Let's get more from Congressman Colmenares himself, who joins us live via Zoom. Good afternoon, sir. First off, can you share how that conversation went earlier today with Ana Patricia Non?
Hi, Sean. Good afternoon. Yes, well, we arrived there. Luckily, Patricia was also there, so we had a talk behind her, the pantry, the community pantry in Maginhawa. And, well, first she updated us on what happened to her and to the other pantries. And then she asked about, is this legal? What is the legal implications of this? So we advised her on the issues, one, whether or not it's legal. And we said it's legal because even the Constitution recognizes the right of citizens to self-reliance and initiative and involvement in societal concerns. And secondly, it's not commercial, and many LGUs have already said that they don't require permits, right? Because this is a mutual benefit undertaking of people who want to help. With regards to the information, we also informed her that under the law, the Data Privacy Act, for example, precisely says that no private information can be divulged without legitimate purpose, and any public officer or a policeman cannot force anyone to give information on private matters without their consent. So, and the Department of Justice Secretary himself has already said so, that you cannot force anyone to provide information. So, I guess that sort of assuades the organizers of the pantry, and we've also talked with other pantries. We went to Maharlika and to Matatag and so on. And we more or less told them that what you're doing is good, so keep it up. And there's no crime there, and we should encourage more pantries all over the Philippines. So it went very well, Sean. Very, very well.
That's really good to hear, Congressman Colmenares. Now, did Ms. Patricia mention when she will be reopening the pantry, or is she still worried about her security or her safety of that, also of her volunteers?
Well, it was open this morning when we arrived. Probably because of the support that she got from a whole, not just lawyers and law students, but a whole lot of people, and even the local government units who said, no, Patricia Non's pantry is okay, no need for a permit, and with telling all their officials to respect it. So she opened this morning, and there were so many people, Sean. In fact, when we went to the Maharlika pantry, ubus na. There's hundreds of people went there that morning, and everything's gone by the time we arrived there at 11 a.m. So yeah, Patricia Non's, the Maginhawa pantry is on, and I think it will be on as long as the donations are there. The pantry will be open, hopefully, and the government will no longer interfere with such a very noble deed by people like Patricia Non.
That's right. Speaking of other people, just like Patricia Non, have you heard of any other similar instances, maybe with questioning from the government or barangays or local government units with other pantries located elsewhere in the country?
Well, when we visited the Maharlika, they said that the certain local, they call it task force disciplina, said, well, they were making people go back or turning people away for those without shields. So, upon the intercession of the local government, they sent face shields to the Maharlika, which is the better policy, Sean, right? So rather than turning people away because they don't have face shields or their face shields are, no longer in good condition, the government should give away face shields. So Matatag was a different story. According to the story of the organizers there this morning, there was really a sort of a shouting match yesterday when there was an attempt to harass the pantry. But someone described to me that there was people power because the people who were lining up were, shouting to the local officials to say, you cannot close this. So in the end, Matatag pantry, won it out. So the pantry continues despite the incident yesterday. So far they said So far, so good naman. And I hope this will continue now that the government has practically said that there's nothing illegal there. There's nothing, no CPP, NPA in a sense, and that it should be encouraged.
All right, hoping for smoother sailing days ahead for community pantries. Now, I have to ask you this, Congressman Colmenares. Last night, in an interview with the Chiefs, another show on this channel, NTF-LCAC spokesman Antonio Perlades said that they will be revealing NON's affiliations in the coming days. Now, it's sort of a vague and it is a blind item. Do you consider this a threat?
Yeah, challenge General Parlade. I'm sure he's going to say, "Oh, she's a member of an activist group, so even if it's true." I don't know what he means by that. But if he's saying that she's CPP NPA, I do not think that he can say that. Let's wait for that. I'm very interested, but I bet you there's nothing he will say there that will stand up in court. I think this kind of nonsense about red tagging. Imagine he said, "Oh, I saw that clip," and where he said, "Oh, this is intelligence work." Where did you see an intelligence work where the policeman or the military goes to the suspect and asks her question? I mean, if you're doing intelligence work, it has to be discreet, right? So what's your purpose in revealing the intelligence work? The only purpose is to harass the person. You make that person, "Oh, now the military is asking questions, so I'm afraid." I haven't seen an intelligence officer go to the suspect and say, what's your name, what's your telephone number? So that only exposes the fact that they just want to harass. They're not really there for intelligence purposes to discover a crime or to gather evidence for a crime, but they're just there to harass people. Because if it's really honest intelligence work, then they shouldn't go to the suspect and ask questions. Of course, the suspect will now know that they're surveilling her. So what's the use of that? There's an intelligence officer like General Parlade. He should not be given that job because that's the worst kind of intelligence work for any military officer. To publicly say that we are surveilling you, that's really unheard of, so to speak.
Any plans, sir, and maybe in the House, of course, in the Senate, but mostly in the House, to put forth something, any proposals to stop red tagging? This has been an issue, I think, for a year now, maybe more.
Yes, well, there is just recently there is a resolution filed in the House today there's a resolution filed in the House to investigate where did this come from, red tagging of community pantries, to investigate the red tagging. The issue of red tagging itself, well, there's no law yet that's being, there's no law that was passed so far, but I think it's about time that a red tag law that prohibits red tagging is passed. If you notice the red tagging of the military in the last few years, they started red tagging churches. Then, I remember still Swedish Red Cross. They red tagged the Swedish Red Cross, Caritas Belgium. Absurd. And then the celebrities, Bayan Muna, Makabayan, the lawyers, the universities, the bishops, the priests. This is just this just shows that it's not really true. Government just considers any person who does not agree with them, who is in the opposition, who's an activist, as a CPP NPA. That's how they interpret it. And even community pantries like this are considered CPP NPA just because it could possibly imply that the government's COVID response is incompetent. But the answer there is this: if the problem is, it will expose the fact that the COVID response of government is incompetent, then the best solution is for government to have a competent COVID response rather than suppress the community pantries, because they're very important to the people. And Sean, people just line up for a small amount of food that they can get for their families. And I really hope that government would stop this nonsense and allow more pantries all over the country to sprout so that more people can have access to food during these hungry times in the midst of COVID pandemic.
All right, points taken, sir. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your insights. That was Bayan Muna Chairman Neri Colmenares joining us via Zoom.